Are you ready to talk about some Kansas City Chiefs football? Yes, the hiatus is over. We are back. And the Kansas City Chiefs have made a flurry of moves this week. And I got a lot to say. So let's get the chit chat and let's have some fun. Chiefs Kingdom, it's good to see y'all again because the last time we spoke, it was on a very bitter note. A game none of us wants to remember as the Chiefs got their ass handed to them against the Philadelphia Eagles. And honestly, I got a lot to take away from that game last year and headed into this offseason. And honestly, it might not be things y'all want to hear. So let's get to the truth. And the Kansas City Chiefs have made a lot of news this week, but let's zone in on the one that Chiefs Kingdom has been zoned in on heaviest, and it's whether or not is Travis Kelce going to retire or is he going to play football in 2025? Well, we got our answer, and Travis Kelce will play one more season for the Kansas City Chiefs and hopefully make this his last dance and end off on a high note. Now, I'm not like a lot of Chiefs Kingdom here. I kind of was hopeful, and this is hard to say, that Travis Kelce would have retired. And I know, pause. Don't hate me. Don't come after me just yet. I love Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is the best tight end ever to play this game. That is without question. But what is also without question is that Travis Kelce has regressed a lot in the last 2 years. And if for me to be hopeful to think in 2025, Travis Kelce is just going to find the fountain of youth and be the version he was in 2022 and be a 1,000-yard receiver again after he's been 2 years removed and be impactful for this offense, I'm not smoking with what you're selling me right now. I'm sorry. And if we're going to be very honest, a lot of Chiefs Kingdom on social media, X, Facebook, whatever social media app you have, is so excited for this to be the last dance. Let's keep it a buck. Let's be real. This was supposed to be his last dance. He was supposed to go out as a three-peat champion, keep the dynasty rolling, and run off into the sunset with Taylor Swift. Instead, they got their ass handed to them. And when the Chiefs got blown out, I knew right then and there Travis Kelce wasn't going to end on that note. He wasn't going to let that be his story. Now, going into 2025, what I am very concerned for with Travis Kelce coming in is one, will that regression keep slowing down? And if so, how are the Kansas City Chiefs going to manage to have him as a player? And I already see some things leaking saying he's just going to be a role player. That's cool. That's what he was supposed to be last year. And I understand injuries to Rashee Rice and the Marquise Hollywood Brown changes things. But also, this is the NFL. It's not to say injuries can't happen again. And also remember, Rashee Rice is looming he's looming a suspension. So he's going to miss additional time. That means you're going to highlight Travis Kelce there. And also, the Chiefs got to re-sign Marquise Hollywood Brown, which we're going to get into their cap space situation here shortly. But the depth is not crazy in the receiving room. So for me to think Travis Kelce won't be a focal point in 2025 or be forced to be one, I'm not buying with what you're selling me again. And if that's the case, it's tough to imagine. Yes, Travis Kelce had a lot of catches last year. But let's be real. Those 85 catches were nothing like they were 2 years ago. He would catch the ball and he would get tackled. It wasn't him making jukes, making plays like he used to be. Now, he can be a formidable receiver, a security blanket, but man, if we're hoping he's a threat, I think we're a little delusional in that aspect. And I also think this hurts the Kansas City Chiefs as well, is because I think the Chiefs have a formidable tight end right behind him in Noah Gray, who I have been begging to get more snaps, and every time he is on the field, he has been a playmaker. He doesn't see the field a lot, and I think this stunts his growth even more. And I can only be hopeful. Again, we are going to underline the word hopeful, and we are going to bold it that he gets more playing time next year and somehow, some way gets more snaps than Travis Kelce. But with Travis Kelce with the big hit, and yes, that's another thing. There's been rumors and reports that his $17 million cap hit is going to stay, which is bonkers, which is ridiculous at what production he is giving you. But I'm not going to attack that right now. He's going to play more than Noah Gray. And it's just like, okay, somehow, some way, we need 2022 Kelce to come out, and he says he's going to be more motivated than ever, and that's something hard for me to buy as well, too, because how can you be more motivated than ever? And he also said he let the guys down in the Super Bowl with not motivating him on the sideline. How can you have none of that last year when you had history on the line? When you had something a team never done in the league and you couldn't get motivated in the biggest game when you were getting your ass kicked? Those are some tough selling points for me to buy going into next year to think, oh, things are just going to change and things are going to be more productive for Travis Kelce. Again, I'm hopeful, but I'm not oblivious to it. Let's speak about more Kansas City Chiefs news that broke this week that none of us expected because reports didn't lead us in this direction, and I'm feeling really iffy about it. And is that the Kansas City Chiefs have franchise tagged Trey Smith. Now, I'm not iffy or questioning having Trey Smith back by any stretch of the imagination. The Chiefs need to keep their O-line intact. Trey Smith is a great guard, and he is a bright young star in this future. I love having Trey Smith on my team. What I am questioning is the franchise tag. That is a $23 million hit for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. They already don't have money to move with. So Brett Veach, which I know he's got to have a plan, and what I'm hopeful to see is that they get a long-term extension with Trey Smith before the new league year starts. Because if you don't, you're going to have to start making moves on restructuring guys like Mahomes, Joe Tooney, hopefully Travis Kelce, maybe Chris Jones, to free up space. Because you can't head into free agency and not be a spender. And I'm not saying the Chiefs will be a spender, but they need to be more of a spender than they have in years past because these Band-Aid fixes, they don't work. And we've seen that now in back-to-back Super Bowls where they can get you to the game, but not back-to-back Super Bowls, but Super Bowl losses against the Bucks and the Eagles. They can get you to the game, but then they can get exposed by very good teams who actually invested in free agency. So the Chiefs need to do something in free agent period, but right now, a huge hit with the cap space with Trey Smith is going to limit them. So I'm hopeful that going into March 12th, I believe it is when the free agency period happens, Trey Smith is signed to a long-term extension that will open up the cap space because it won't be that big of a cap hit going into 2025. But right now, we got to take it for what it is. And the Chiefs got holes. Let's face it. Still on that offensive line. They got holes in the defense. Like I said, Band-Aid solutions. Cornerback too. We can't do what we did last year. Yes, Jalen Watson did play good when he was healthy. But when it came Super Bowl time, them boys got exposed, and even Trent McDuffie as well. They need to add pieces there. The safety room's going to take a hit because Justin Reed looks like he'll leave, but at the end of the day, he wasn't the best either. So Jaden Hicks, it's your time to step up. The safety market in free agency is great, but dudes are going to get paid. And then running back room, I think that's huge. I don't think, and I love the dude. Where's he at? Right here, Isaiah Pacheco. Before I start talking shit about him, I love him. He's not an RB1. I don't have hope he will be elite, and I don't know if the Kansas City Chiefs will re-sign Kareem Hunt, but at the end of the day, he's older. He's not someone we should depend on as an RB2 or RB1 and hope he can carry the team. The Chiefs need to invest in the running back room, and we already talked about wide receiver depth. Do you bring in Marcus Hollywood Brown back? Do you bring DeAndre Hopkins back? I don't know. But you need those pieces, that's for sure. The Chiefs are going to have an interesting free agent period, and right now they made it even more interesting by franchise tagging Trey Smith. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, you can't fuck up that interior because it's the best interior O-line in the league. Put quotes on that because I'm not highly sure about that because it was exposed in the Super Bowl and that's my last taste of it. But it is a very solid interior line. But you know what makes an interior O-line best or how they perform the best? Is when you run behind it. And the Kansas City Chiefs don't use that to their strength. So it's like, okay, do I really care if we have the best interior O-line if we're not even running the football or we don't have a good run game? No. And I understand I'm not going to hurt the interior line by letting Trey Smith walk. That's not the case. But I want to use it as a strength, specifically when the offense has seen hits in the passing game, in the run game, and now we're just going downhill in the offense for the last 2 years. I want to see that spike back up in 2025. So we need those pieces to be in place in free agency. The Kansas City Chiefs have been a very good team drafting. They only got 6 picks this year, so they're going to be very limited unless they make trades, which there's not really that many trade pieces on this team, so got to pause there. But we've seen teams that we've gone against in the Super Bowl, like the Philadelphia Eagles, where they win the free agency and they build a Superman team. And even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they bring in Tom Brady, when they bring in Rob Gronkowski, when they bring in Antonio Brown, they did their thing in the free agent period. This is a cap league. You gotta spend. Now the Chiefs have been successful in the draft, but now you gotta find a way to up it in free agency. I'm not saying go for home run players like Myles Garrett, any stretch of the imagination. But I am saying you gotta shore up some holes. And you gotta shore them up with some good players to great players and to hopefully make them star players. Because guys like the late 7th round picks, they're nice, they're great stories. But are they going to be the ones in the long run to help you keep the dynasty going and win Super Bowls? I'm not sure at this point. I love Jalen Watson, but is he a for real cornerback number 2, or is that always going to be question marks there? I think we need a legit guy on that side. We need more pass rushers. Of course, the left tackle position is going to be a question throughout all of free agency, but this is another issue the Kansas City Chiefs are going to deal with specifically with the left tackle position is it's a very slim free agent period. That pool is slim. So you go into the draft, you're picking 31, you got to hope your guy falls to you or you trade up. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Kansas City Chiefs attack that. And one final note I do want to end on, speaking on the O-line, I know when we talk trade pieces, I've seen Chiefs Kingdom go crazy because another issue or another thing highlighted on social media as well was, well, you're paying Trey Smith $23 million this year and you're paying Joe Thuney over $20 million as well. You're wrapped up $50 million right there basically in guards. What if the Kansas City Chiefs trade Joe Thuney? Shut up. He was literally the best player on our O-line last year. He literally filled in at the left tackle position and probably played some of the best left tackle ball at the end of the year than any other left tackles. And now we're talking about trading him just to save some cap money. I get it. He's older, and I get it. That's how the Chiefs move when they try to find young pieces. That would be a huge mistake because the Chiefs have been in this position before, previous to last year, where their left tackle got hurt and Joe Thuney had to fill in. You need guys like that. And I'm going to let Joe Thuney retire as a Kansas City Chief because he deserves that as well. Now, I understand if he has to restructure, he has to restructure. It's not something he would probably like or we would like, but man, the Chiefs need to find a way to open up cap space, and I don't think the answer is trading away Joe Thuney because that hurts your O-line more than anything. And I know there's been reports out there that, well, Kingsley Sumatia has now been moved to guard, so maybe they believe in him at that position. I'm still taking Joe Thuney. I don't know. He is the one who is proven out there, and I like Sumatia, and I wish you got a legit chance at left tackle besides just watching him fall on his face and then say, okay, we're not doing you anymore, and then, okay, now you're just moving to guard. But again, these are all question marks. We're going to discuss more throughout this offseason. It's already steaming. It's already rolling through. I'm going to give you guys some of my list of who I want as free agents, some of my dream wishes, and we're already rolling under it. But this is some of the truth. This is some things I feel y'all needed to hear because, yes, there's a lot of optimism. Rightfully so. I'm very optimistic too. But going into next year, we need to do things to make that optimism realistic. And right now, there's some questionable moves that I wanted to highlight, and I wanted to give y'all my point of view. But I'm going to be checking out. It's good to talk to y'all again. Thank you for checking back in. If you did like this video, please hit that big thumbs up. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. It does help out greatly. Chiefs Kingdom, we back, we kicking. I'm checking out. Y'all take care. Peace.